you really like us, could you please smash that like button or subscribe? We really appreciate it, and we really appreciate your viewership. So welcome back.
Help us help you.
Help me.
Help you.
Help
you.
me help you.
Show me the money! And tip your bartender if you're entertained. I don't think we have that ready yet, so we can't do that.
Okay.
Dang it.
Product placement.
We don't want Kiss.
God.
We're not here for
Like-
Kiss. All right,
have
so
an
who's leading
antibiotic.
off of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier? What did you guys think?
I liked it. Overall,
Yes. Great action.
I thought it was a little rushed.
Okay.
I think I feel like they could have taken episode 5 and dashed it with a little more action instead of just total character development outside of the fight in the beginning.
Yep.
And then they could have fleshed things out a little longer in 6, and then had a really strong action. It was like that, but it was just something weird. It was like, okay, he's gonna open the box, and then bam, everything was just go.
Mm-hmm.
He was flying, and Bucky was there, and Sharon was there, and I don't know. It just felt like the fights. On one hand, I thought the action was subpar outside of Sam's scenes.
Most definitely.
When he was flying as Cap Falcon, whatever we want to call it, he looks pretty badass. I thought those scenes were really good. But I thought the fight scene with John Walker against the Flag Smashers and Bucky didn't impress me much. I thought those weren't any better than a CW fight.
Yeah. And the bad thing is really Bucky was fighting really well the whole time, this whole series.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he was just like there to help people out of a car and drive a motorcycle.
Yeah, and then there was that weird scene. I'm like, did that just happen where John Walker and Bucky roll up on the Flag Smashers and they're like, "We gotcha," and then all the cops, surround him like, "See ya." It's like, that's it? We're not gonna have a throwdown?
Yeah. The
Seriously?
1940 man could actually use an app on a phone.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of weak, but I rate the season as a whole though pretty good. I don't think I'm like thinking it was like amazing. I probably still think if I had to pick, I might actually prefer WandaVision just because it was so unique and different. And I thought the battle scene at the end of WandaVision was better than this one. Outside of Sam, he did look really awesome. So.
That's gonna bring up an interesting topic, and I want people, if they're in the chat right now or watching this later, what series did you like better, WandaVision or the Falcon and the Winter Soldier? I think what you were saying about that there were certain episodes that were slow and we felt that they could have done more. We felt that in WandaVision. So I almost feel like that's going to be it's going to happen in almost every series, that there's going to be one in the middle that they try to do too much back, view and stuff like that we don't get what we're actually wanting.
I agree with that, and I'm okay with it, I guess. And I'm maybe even Wanda's next to last episode was a little underwhelming. It feels like I could see, like, let's say episode 4 was a little slow, and then 5 ramps it up, and then 6 is the big one. It seems like that would be the trajectory you would want, instead of, hey, 4 is really cool, and then 5's dead, and then 6 is all action. I don't know. I think you would want to keep the pace going.
Escalated.
But escalated. There you go.
Well,
but
I mean, I feel like, with episode 5, they had a lot of that. It almost seemed like with the boat scene and whatnot, there was some resolution there, and then they bring it back, and then whoops, Falcon's getting ready to be Captain America, and here we go. but OMG, John Walker saving the day. We called it redemption.
Yeah.
I like
I
John.
mean, I'm glad
something.
they did that.
As I have been hard on John Walker compared to you guys this whole time, and I will say,
Right.
I really liked his character in this one because you could see it. They did it really well that he was sympathetic. There was times that he had to fight it. You know, he wanted to go do it, but he knew for the better of the situation, he needed to go save the people. And I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I agree. So I guess I'm going to go keep on the theme of what didn't work for me, and then we can maybe talk about what did work. And I agree with all of you. John Walker did work for me big time. So I'm excited to see what that's going to bring. I think the other thing that didn't work as a whole for the series, and when I watched it the second time with my son, I really didn't like Carly, whatever her name was. I thought she sucked. I think she was a terrible villain. I never bought for a second she was leading some big group. I mean, I'm not saying she can as a woman lead the group, but she was miscast. I don't know if she was written poorly. I kind of got uninterested every single time the Flag Smashers came on the screen. It was like I wanted not to see them. I'd rather see anyone else. Sam, Buck, Sharon, Zemo, John Walker, especially, anybody but them. I didn't care for them at all. And it was like I was trying to think it was going to get better as the series went along, and I was like, no.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care for them at all. Weak, super weak.
Just make an example of WandaVision. Agatha was such a strong villain compared to what the Flag Smashers were in this one.
And I'd like to say, too, imagine if we didn't have all those damn theories about Mephisto and Wonder Man and Grim Reaper, how much better we would have because we liked her the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder how much better we would have liked Agatha if we didn't have all that other noise in the background. I think we would have elevated her even higher.
Good point.
But yeah, Flag Smashers were a bust, and the ending was just weak.
Well, and I mean, even to go into a little bit more of it, I feel like they try to make her likable at times. I mean, I think she was actually a quite poor actress.
I agree.
Wasn't she in Star Wars too?
She's in Solo as the Enfys Nest, or I think that was her name. They thought she was bad, but she really wasn't. Yeah, she sucked.
She was awful. She was awful. And then kind of at the end, like, what I guess maybe you guys can help me understand this, is there was almost seems like there was political undertones of, we shouldn't really be upset with her. Sam was almost like, we shouldn't be upset with her. We shouldn't really be mad at her.
Yeah.
It was almost like, okay, you did some villainous stuff here, but let's gonna be happy with you.
Okay, I feel there's a deeper undertone with you and you're holding back. So is there more that you didn't like about that situation? You can't just
I didn't like the speech.
Sprinkle the sugar on top. You got to really go after it, or the salt, I should say.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm a blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy. Sam called me out, and
you were outraged.
I was. Not only am I blonde-haired, blue-eyed, I'm watching this show with my two sons who are both blonde hair, blue eyes. So I had to pause the show in order for me to explain that you're not terrible. You guys are great people, and you're no better than anybody else.
Evil.
So
Dr. Evil.
I mean, okay, if it's okay if you wanted to maybe make some undertones about how white people are superior and whatnot, whatever. But you call a specific I'm sorry that Hitler idolized me, my type of people.
Oh, we just
Like,
been canceled off YouTube. Never say that
yeah,
word.
darn it.
Everything just went black.
It's Pitler, not the other
Coach,
word. Hitler. Hitler.
Coach said I shouldn't hold back.
I could just tell there was something more that you were wanting to.
I was trying to be PG. I was trying to be politically correct.
I think that's where everybody goes wrong anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? That line was the line that was like unnecessary, and in my opinion, out of character for Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was basically like, oh, I'm not blonde hair, blue eyed. Like, I'm not, it felt like a put down to Steve. Like he was, and that's just not Sam. The whole episode, or excuse me, the whole series, Steve is his best friend. That line felt very out of character because, in my opinion, they've done a really good job of Sam being diplomatic, like understanding where Isaiah came from and understanding why he felt the way he did, but also knowing I've experienced what I've experienced wasn't what you experienced, and I've seen a lot of good. So that line felt like, man, this is not what you have been preaching, in my opinion, the whole series, and now you're coming off as whatever. So that's kind of where I was like,
The part of the speech that I did like, though, is where he said, basically, we can do better. And I think that was a good undertone with what he was saying, except for how he got there, I guess is what I mean.
Yeah.
I do think in a situation, not saying that Carly was, should be looked at as a heroic person, which is what I sort of felt like they were going with. But they do need to ask the question, why was she such... What was her motivation to go that far that she did?
Right.
Which they weren't even looking at that at all. And it probably happens all the time around here.
Yeah, I think the point would have been well made if she was just trying to make change and maybe causing some chaos, but she negated her whole argument, and that's what irritated me and maybe Ref too, that they tried to make her into sympathetic villain. It's like, no, you were killing innocent people left and right. Whatever you were trying to do was negated with those actions, so you're done.
And it's just
the audacity of a hero to go up to people who are just taken hostage and say, you guys need to change your crap. You guys need to fix your stuff. Like, whoa. Okay. You can do some pretty awful things, but when you're the victim of a crime, there is no that's where I think we're going a little bit wrong here. And that's where maybe I found Sam a little bit unlikable for that.
Yeah, I thought that whole little speech, while on one hand and here's a couple things. It felt like it started out like, okay, I think this is going to be okay. And then I think it was another review I saw was saying like, okay, but the speech went on too long. This speech was too long. It needed to be a concise statement, kind of being diplomatic, and then move on. I still go back to the Winter Soldier, greatest speech, greatest line in all the MCU, in my opinion, and probably resonates with me because Cap's my favorite. But when Steve and Sam, and then I think, what's her name from How I Met Your Mother, they were in the control room, and Steve gets a hold of the mic and tells everyone, hey, Hydra has taken you over, and hey, the cost of freedom is high, and I'm willing to pay it, and if I'm alone, so be it, but I'm willing to bet I'm not. And and Sam just is like in awe and says, did you prepare that ahead of time, or did you just speak off the cuff? Like, this guy's amazing. And it was just like, boom. That's what you wanted to do. That made a huge impact. Where Sam's came off as preachy and long, there could have been an opportunity to make it really concise and make it much more impactful. But
I think what they were trying to do, and this is the part I have a problem with, and I can't tell you how people feel in certain situations because I have no experience, and I probably hope I don't. But with all in the summer when the riots were going on and the protests, I think protests are fine. But when they
Absolutely.
started now looting and putting stuff on fire and doing all that stuff, and then you heard politicians almost saying they were doing what they felt they needed to and we should support it. That's what the Sam part felt like to me with what he was saying with Carly.
Yeah.
And that should be no. We can't support this. She should have done it a whole different diplomatic way. And she physically got violent.
Where was Sam's speech to her? Where was Sam's speech to her to say, we could have done better? We could have lined up together to make better.
Yeah.
You know, like, where is that? You know, because I think that's straight out of, you know, political leanings to say that, hey, what is it said on, you know, the philosophy in their realm is if they don't hear you the first time, then you have to do extremist type things.
Yeah.
You have to make more noise. You have to get in people's faces.
Rules for radicals.
Yes.
I'm serious. I think that comes from that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a good point, Coach, is about what Sam was doing. It was like it doesn't make any sense. It's very correlates with what was going on in reality. Like, oh hey, we're going to justify this horrible behavior. On the one hand, hey, it's sad this, I guess she was a teenager, is dead, but I am also very sorry that she murdered all these other innocent people. Mm-hmm. So, you know, my sympathy only goes so far.
And at the same time, the only reason she's dead is because somebody killed her before she was about to pull the trigger on you, Sam. Because she was going to kill you.
Right.
There was the look she had was not changing her mind on that situation.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately with this show, I think you're going to have, you know, both extremes, those that are extremely liberal and we're championing all and adding to things in the show that maybe weren't really there and interpreting things like, okay, guys, that's not really what they were going for.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, too, you know, though there's been some people that are like, this is the most woke show ever. This is like horrible. It's like, okay, guys, no, it's not. There were a few scenes that were questionable, but overall, this series was not trying to I was like, have you watched any CW shows? Because go do that.
I totally agree with that. I there's some people that I hope I don't get in trouble with the 500 people that are watching us. I'll go tell them. But with the people that I watch, the high horse that they have gotten on about woke is gotten pathetic.
Yeah, it's to the level of insanity. Of like no rational thought is actually taking place. No critical thinking is happening here. You're completely ruled by your emotions because you are not thinking in any way soundly.
We just got a 10-minute breakdown, by the way, of we might be ending this early.
Ooh, 10-minute breakdown.
Oh, with the upgrade. They want me to upgrade Zoom. It's all right. Anyway. I don't know. Well, do you want to go to what we actually did like?
Yeah, we probably got a little negative. There's a lot to like, so.
We're allowed to be negative. We're allowed to push back because, again, I think that's where we're going to get the shows and the voices that we need to within, you know, because Josh can speak more to this, but comic book heroes are moralistically and virtue-esque some of the people we look at and say, okay, that's what a good person will do, you know. So a lot of times, you know, especially these kids, my kids, Josh's kids, you know, Ace's kids, sorry, God, and you even put it on the screen. I'm sorry. I'm the worst, literally. And Coach's kids, you know, like these are the people that are consuming this. This is just another way that I feel like we're trying to we're trying to fix things and make things moral. If you want to make it about skin color, if you want to make it about whatnot, that's fine. But don't sit here and isolate a whole population of people. You know, I speak for us blonde hair, blue eyed people that say, I'm not a fan of you calling me out to say that I'm, you know, me and Steve Rogers, we're a lot alike, but we're not bad people for you being good. You know what I mean?
We're good on our 10 minutes too, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, good,
Uh,
splendid.
You don't have to isolate. You don't have to isolate part of your viewership to make everybody feel comfortable.
Yeah, and I do. I don't know. I mean, I know that there were situations, and if you remember, it was supposed to come out a lot earlier than it did. And so maybe those situations would have made more sense with the time that there has been in between. I think we've hit it enough, and we didn't need it another time probably in the face. If it would have been, if it would have came out when it was supposed to come out, it would have probably been a whole different view on that too.
It's a good point. Yeah, I think there's a good possibility of that. So,
all right, let's go.
Anyway,
we gotta get positive.
What worked for me? I think we've talked about Bucky really worked for me, and honestly, Sam worked for me most of the time. He really did. It's like my wife loved Sam too. He's like, oh, he's so good.
Yeah.
And I thought this episode again had its problems. Strangely enough, it's the only episode that's rated rotten in the series on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. Now the series as a whole is positive, but when they go episode by episode, the last one's rotten. But okay, big deal. John Walker, he did redeem himself in a lot of ways, and loved how they set him up. We got him in the official U.S. agent uniform, even though, like he said, it's the same costume but black.
Did you see what he said online?
Who, Wyatt Russell?
Yeah.
No,
he was basically saying he was a little disappointed when he saw the costume, like he was looking forward to it the whole time, and then he was like, "It's literally just black."
So is that why they use that line? Like,
I guess.
Yeah. But it was really cool. He got his name, U.S. agent, and they're obviously setting up, a Thunderbolt / Dark Avengers something. So
it's got to be Thunderbolt. So that's what they got to name it, correct?
Well, I mean, and this also works. So I'll keep on the theme. It wasn't a shock. Oh, Sharon's the power broker. How did I not see that coming? Oh my gosh, the shock and awe. But I do think it's extremely out of character for her, and I theorize she's not Sharon but a Skrull.
And see, if she's Sharon, I'm actually not. I don't like it. And I sort of understand it with how she was treated, but at the same time, with what her family stands for and what she stands for, and then she's just going to be now the power broker and one of the biggest villains around, just sounds horrible.
To me, it sounds like, well, that's okay. The Skrull would take her skills and her contacts and start building something and using it as an excuse to go rogue. But anyway, that's my theory too.
Do you think?
But we'll see.
Do you think though this will go towards the Secret Invasion?
That's kind of what I'm going for. Is like, if we want to talk about the end credit scene, which I thought was pretty cool, she gets pardoned, and then at the end she's talking to somebody, and now she's going to have all access to tech and everything, governmental stuff. So here's my thing. It's like, are we going to have like Val's, Elaine? Are we going to have her team, and then Sharon setting up something over here with, Val's building some kind of Dark Avengers, I think, U.S. agent and whoever. Meanwhile, Sharon's using tech and creating the Thunderbolts in like fake superheroes with tech stuff. I don't know. I mean, I think that's where they're gonna have like some kind of mishmash of Dark Avengers meets Thunderbolts somehow.
Really? I wasn't even going that direction at all.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, that's kind of where I mean, because the rumor is there's been a strong rumor of, hey, there's a Dark Avengers project in development, has been for a while. There's definitely a Thunderbolts development, but they never know which one's which. It's like, is it one property? Is it two separate? I'm starting to think they're kind of converging into this, together.
Is it going to be a movie or a series, you think?
That is a great question. I feel like it needs to be a series. I don't know how, unless you put all the pieces in all the series and they're dropped here, dropped here, dropped here, and then you just do a movie. But I think if they just want to start doing it, it's probably gonna have to be a series.
Doesn't Bucky have to be involved in the Dark Avengers?
I think so. Yeah.
And to me, though, see, that's where I have the problem is because I 100% feel that Sebastian Stan can pull off an A role in the movie.
Yeah, I kind of think whatever role he's in, unless somehow they do a second season apart from Captain America 4 that's called Captain America and the Winter Soldier, unless they do that, I mean, whatever series he's going to be in, I think he will be the lead.
Okay.
So,
all right, so let's
but
talk about the suit.
the suit,
The suit.
the Falcon suit,
Yes. What'd you think?
Cat Falcon. I freaking love it. Actually, it's even when I wasn't a big fan of the storyline in the comic, I always loved Sam, but Ref back me up. I mean, the comic where Sam was Falcon is utter trash, horrible. It's as preachy and disgusting as you can imagine. But damn, I thought that suit is cool.
I really like what they did with the wings.
Yeah.
On how they did all those little bits and pieces. Did you like that the helicopter bounced off basically of the wings and the shield?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's vibranium, so
Yeah.
pretty much can withstand anything.
Don't get me wrong. We didn't see these wings coming into action, did we? We saw his wings getting broken, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden he has them back.
Well, yeah, but I think the Wakandan made these.
Okay. Yeah, this is all Wakandan. I mean, that's where Bucky's like, "Hey, I need one more favor," and then Bucky delivers the suitcase to him and says, "Hey, here, Somebody said too, like, there's wings. It's the exact same design as the Winter Soldier tunic. And there's like Steve had 3 wings and then Sam has 2. And that's a symbol, like, when fighter pilots are flying over, they have one fall back to honor their fallen comrade. So that was like representing Steve, that Steve is gone, so there's just 2 wings. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Did you like how baggy the suit was?
It's a little ill-fitted on Sam, wasn't it? It needed a little tightening. I think they'll lose I think they'll just go to the goggles. I mean, I think it looks cool with the white stuff that in his ear sticking out, but I think it's going to be too restrictive. I bet they just end up going, when they'll tweak the suit for wherever he comes next, whether it's on the second season or Cat 4. But yeah. What'd you all think?
I mean, obviously, I think it's wonderful. I think the colors of it are great. I think it's just super unique all in itself. I'm with you. As much as it's visually appealing with kind of the headpiece there, I think they're probably going to simplify that. I don't know if that's necessary. Like, it's not very aesthetically appropriate, I guess.
Yeah.
For his role. And it let's be honest, it kind of whitewashes him a little bit. Like, that's not necessary in my mind for him. Like, we're making a statement like Sam's just as good as anybody else and has the courage and and understanding to be Captain America, but we're going to put white all around his face and all around his body. Like that just doesn't seem like a very diverse choice. And I know I'm probably reading a little bit too much into that, but
you crazy.
But again, that was the only good thing about the comic series was the way he looked. So I'm glad that they have translated. I mean, I texted Josh when I watched, or Ace when I watched it. That
we have to cut you off, Ref. This is an ad product placement. We have a Kiss on their final tour. A&E biography appears in June, and a Netflix movie is coming out next year. Thanks for sponsoring us, Netflix and A&E. Back to you, Ref.
Are you stuck for words there, Ref, or what's going on?
I reckon I don't know what to say.
I'll say I liked it. I mean, I 100% like the suit, and I think it's better. It's a better suit than what Captain America had in the first Avenger. And I do think it's going to get better. I do like your point about getting rid of the white and just making it the goggles. I think it will be better for the whole purpose of who Sam is and that he's the new Captain America. Love the wings. I think I was worried about how he would introduce the shield with all the fighting, and I think they did a really good job with that, plus the wings. So it just made sense.
Well, they almost had to, and even like the cool little thing, like when he was trying to hold up the van and he had these things shoot out from him, and because that was one thing that I was probably gonna be a little confused about, is that Falcon really isn't that strong. He's
he's human
sleek. Strength. Yeah, he's very sleek. He has the ability to be very I don't know, forward thinking, quick, thinks on his feet, thinks like a military guy. So but yeah, I was always wondering, like, how are they going to make him the brute that Captain America can be?
Yeah, so he's got the suit. He's got all those advantages of flight, thrusting power, and then the protection of the vibranium wings and then the shield. And then I assume the suit itself probably has a little extra padding too. He's got to have that advantage if he's not going to be a super soldier. He just has to.
But that's what I was hoping. I was hoping the suit was going to be a little bit more like a Black Panther type of material and that real tight, that Black Panther was. And then I was hoping that it was going to be from Wakanda and the same kind of technology. But I don't think you're getting. I think it's just the wings that they made that has the vibranium in it, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm probably assuming there's at least some protective Kevlar-esque material there, but you're right. No, I don't think the suit's vibranium at all. It's just his wings.
Well,
I agree.
Since when did he become Batman with all these gadgets and stuff? I guess it's interesting that he has those abilities.
He went to the multiverse and came back, and now he's gadgeted up.
That's a good point.
Everyone's Tony Stark these days.
Just he doesn't have the money that Tony Stark does.
Because
Tony Stark didn't pay him.
Nowhere near.
All right.
Still don't get that.
You have anything else on Falcon and Winter Soldier?
What do you guys? Okay, my opinion is, what do you guys want to rate the show overall? And then, Coach, like you said, how does it compare to WandaVision as the second Marvel Disney Plus show? I mean, we can kind of rank them after we see Loki and then Hawkeye and etc. But what's your guys' ranking?
As of right now, if I had to pick between the Falcon and Winter Soldier and WandaVision, I would probably go with a Falcon and a Winter Soldier because I like the fight scenes better. But man, some of the very good I think the stories were better on WandaVision. Now, as far as actors and actresses, I don't know if you can tell me anybody else has done as good as Elizabeth Olsen, unless we're talking Sebastian Stan.
I agree.
So I would give her performance still above anybody else, and Sebastian Stan's next.
Oh, Paul Bettany was really close too, though. I thought he was.
I don't disagree with that, but
I thought he's way up there.
Well, and you have in WandaVision, you have the supporting cast of Monica Rambeau and Jimmy Chu and like.
And Darcy. I liked all three of them really well.
Yes. Yeah, and
Ralph Boner.
Who could forget Mr. Boner?
That was still stupid.
So, I mean, I would. This is probably maybe personal bias, but I would probably go WandaVision than Falcon Winter Soldier. The only reason that I would want to put Falcon Winter Soldier over WandaVision is some of the character development was pretty remarkable in Falcon Winter Soldier. You know, you got John Walker doing the whole loop. You had the friendship or the hatred of Falcon and Winter Soldier at first, and you know the development of that. Like I feel like overall it did way better with character development.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the villains, other than the Flag Smashers and stuff like that. But overall, it's close.
The problem with WandaVision for me is they played with your mind way too much, in my opinion. I mean, the things that they were putting Easter eggs in that there is no reason to put them in now that you really look at it. And the other thing,
right.
I can't get over that you bring a Quicksilver from the X-Men over to play that role, and you end up basically it didn't mean anything, and his name was Rob.
It was a boner. Yeah, it's literally a boner joke.
That's
like,
too
oh, man.
That's too far, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's every bit up there with Trevor Slattery as the Mandarin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's right there with it. Like, oh gosh.
Oh, that's all I got.
I guess I rank it as if I had to give it a number grade, I'd probably give. It's close. I liked him really well. I'm gonna have to say I guess I enjoyed WandaVision overall better. Even if I think back on it, I'm like, man, I felt satisfied at the end, aside from Boner. Whereas Falcon, I'm just a little like, I don't know, there's something missing for it. I think I just could not stand the freaking Flag Smashers to a pretty high degree.
Like the main villain just wasn't a villain.
Oh, was terrible. The Asian gentleman on the team, I was like, that guy should have been the Flag Smasher. Like, he had more charisma, more leadership than whatever Carly was doing. That guy should have been the leader of the group, but I would have believed it. With her, I just didn't. But I do love John Walker a lot. So, and Bucky, got a little preachy for me. I'm probably giving WandaVision an 8 and Falcon, Bucky a 7.5. So
now the only thing I'm gonna trump you on WandaVision on one thing. The fact that the episodes were 27 minutes to less than 30, with the credits being almost half as long as what the actual show was. That drove me nuts.
The credits that was irritating. I mean, the credits are long on Falcon too, but
yeah, but at least they just get 45 plus minutes every time.
Yeah, but that's what they were going for. I mean, they did get longer. I mean, especially in the beginning, they were like, hey, we're doing sitcoms, so we're not doing 45-minute sitcom.
Yeah.
So, although I kind of forgot about Zemo, though, he might have to nudge it up by his performance alone. So,
except no mask.
Oh, that was the other thing. Come on, man.
It still doesn't equal Ralph Boner.
It doesn't, but it's like, hey, fans, we're giving you the mask for one 10-second scene with he just randomly puts on a mask.
You saw it as much in the trailer as what it was in the show.
Yeah, that was irritating. But all right, that's what I think. Overall, they're both good, though. I recommend them both. I don't know that they exceeded my expectations, but they were well done in their quality Marvel stuff. That's my final word.
I think one more trump for Falcon and Winter Soldier is I am way more excited about U.S. Agent than I am about Monica Rambeau.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm more excited. I'm excited for Monica Rambeau. I really liked her, but I'm probably more excited to see what's going on way more excited maybe to see what's going to happen with White Vision.
Yeah, I mean, if you read the 80s Avengers series, like Monica Rambeau was a important figure at Spectrum in the Avengers. Wasn't she even one of the heads of the Avengers at one time?
Oh yeah, she was chairman for a good chunk.
Yeah, so
I mean, she's a leader. So
yeah, so I'm totally interested to see what they can and will do with her.
Yeah, I think she's going to be fully powered in Captain Marvel 2. That'll be neat to see. Mm-hmm. So,
sure. All right. Well, that is it for that segment of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Product placement. I'll be right back with your KISS update.
If you have enjoyed what you have watched, please hit the subscribe button and make sure you check out our other videos. Thank you.